BeatsbyLonza in the building. Another video for you, and this is another day in the life video of me and my process of making beats. So I had an epiphany last night of sorts. In my videos, I talk about some of the equipment that I use and why I use it. And I thought to myself, there's a possibility that most people that watch my videos don't understand why I say some equipment is better than others, or why I prefer some equipment over others. And today I want to talk about the MPC, the new line of MPCs, and why I have the MPCs that I have. I am down to 4. No, I'm down to 4 of the new MPCs. If you're not counting the Akai Force, that's 5. And then the MPC Studios, I got both of the MPC Studios, the black and then the MPC Studio, I guess it's the MK2, I guess they'd call it. But anyway, we'll talk about that a little bit later. All right, so what I want to get to is workflow of the new MPCs. Now, some would say, oh, well, if you got an MPC 1, all you gotta do is hook up a keyboard to it and you have an MPC Key 61. Technically, no. And technically, yes. But technically, no. Same thing that people would say with the freaking MPC Live 2. And say, oh, if you got an MPC Live 2 and you plug a keyboard up to it, it's the same as having an MPC Key 61 or 37. Not entirely true. Now, what Akai did was that they made an MPC for every level of producer. So kind of like you can buy the MPC that you need in steps. Let's say you're a brand new producer. You may not want to have started out with an X or a Live 2. But you could have started out with an X and a Live 2. There's nothing wrong with that. But then when you start out with the top of the line, then you go back down to like an MPC 1, you're like, Now you start talking about portability. Now, an MPC X, you can just pack up and just jump on a flight and take it with you and it be portable because it has to be plugged up at all times. And it's huge. So let me show you what I'm talking about. MPC X. This is the OG version. It's huge. You're not packing that thing up and lugging it around, nor would you want to. This is built for staying in place, staying in your studio, and it being a workhorse and a centerpiece of your studio. Now, what I love about the X, and which I'll never get rid of my X unless it breaks and I have to get a new one, I'll get a new one. But I'll never get rid of the X. What I love about it is that there's a button function for everything. Everything that you would normally have to go into inside the MPC system for, it's all on the freaking pad somewhere. There's a freaking button for it. And so you're able to get to the buttons really fast and just get to work without having to menu dive so much. Same thing, I'm going to bring the Akai Force into this conversation, because same thing with the Akai Force. There's a button for everything. And the second thing that I like about it is that if you are able to go into your arranger, you're able to go to arranger mode and actually track in sounds live, and you're able to track in your actual tracks that you build to build your song, and you can move it around. Let's say you have an intro here on this launching roll right here. You can go from intro to verse to hook, back to verse, or if you like me, I have intro, a verse, a hook, a verse, a hook, a bridge. Oh, you didn't see that. Intro, verse, hook, bridge. Or you can just go intro, verse, hook, bridge, and just go back and forth between intro, verse, hook, verse, hook, bridge, hook, whatever combination you want. And when the quantization, which I can't freaking say, when it quantizes, and it loops back around, it's going to put it right back online in track with in your song mode. And then from there, all you have to do from the arranger mode is export it out from the arranger mode. And so that is the great thing about the Akai Force. Now, the MPC 5000 and those series that are, along the 3000 and 2500 and all those that are this size, these are the predecessors to the X. Again, it had buttons for everything. So, MPC 5000, you have to menu dive a little bit, but still, it still has buttons to get you where you're going. All right, so let me show you the second thing that I'm talking about. All right, this is my tried and true 1000%. If I need it in any scenario, this is gonna make me some money. This is gonna make me my money. This is my money maker. The MPC Live 2. It is portable. It has a battery. It has all the ins and outs that you'll need. It has 2 USB slots. You are able to connect to the internet wirelessly. It has speakers, and it has a hard drive in the back. You are not beating the MPC Live 2 in nothing, because guess what? I can pack this up in my computer bag, put my headphones in my computer bag, and I'm off. I'll only take the charger battery just to charge it, but for 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours, I can run that battery, and I can just make beats for 5 hours on a flight. You are not beating this machine. Now, the difference between the Live 1 and the Live 2 is the speakers and the button layout. The button layout is a little bit different at the top for the Live 1 and the Live 2. But the Live 1 and the Live 2, you're not beating Portability. Those are flagship MPCs. Those are the ones that I recommend that you start out with, that if you're just not going to buy a new one and upgrade, those are the ones that I start out with. Now, if you're just starting out and you're not sure if you're going to get like MPC, or you just want to try it out and you don't want to spend the kind of bread that you spend on MPC Live brand new or MPC Live 2 brand new, then your option, what you're looking at, is going to be the MPC 1. Now, the issue that you're going to run into with MPC 1, not the MPC 1 Plus, is that it is not wireless. So if you're looking to have to update while you're on the road, you're not going to be able to update while you're on the road unless you have a LAN cable. And the LAN cable will allow you to update your machine, but you shouldn't want to update your machine while you're on the road. You should be able to use what you got. It requires you to have a freaking cable. You have no battery. So that's the next thing I'm going to do. I'm going to inquire about having a battery pack that I can attach to the MPC 1, that I can make the MPC 1 portable. The second thing about the MPC 1 is that it doesn't have a freaking hard drive. But the way you get around not having a hard drive is to have an external hard drive. And so when I say external hard drive, that means a detachable USB hard drive that you can take with you, that you can plug in, and now at all times you have access to all of your freaking files that you'll need, or access to all your expansions or your sounds or your samples and everything that you have that you can take on the road with you. There's always a workaround for something. The MPC 1 only has one USB slot. So the fix to having the one USB slot is to have a USB hub. And that way you can attach your hard drive, you can attach your USB sticks, you can attach whatever extra that you'll need as far as USBs go. Where they did get it right is that they did add an SD card to the MPC 1. Now, what they did with the MPC One Plus is they allowed you to have wireless internet, and I think they might have upgraded some of the specs on it. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But I do know that they did put wireless internet on the MPC One Plus, and they did a couple of changes to it. Now, here's what my video is about. All right, the MPC Key 61. Now, in my videos, you've heard me say this is the king of my studio. And I'm not lying. This is the king of my studio. Ever since I got it, I've put everything to the side to make beats on the MPC Key 61. This is my new hit maker. If I'm going to make a hit, I'm making a hit on the MPC Key 61. If I'm also going to make a hit, let me show you where else I'm going to make it a hit. I'm going to make a hit. I'm going to make a hit on this MPC Live 2 because I'm so familiar with the workflow, because I've had it for so long and I know that joker in and out, and I can probably do it with my eyes closed. My third hit maker is going to always be the MPC X. I make different beats on different machines. I can't tell you why that is, but I can tell you that if I want to get into my boom bap bag, I want to get into my hip hop bag, man, I'm going to slay some boom bap and some R&B on the MPC X. MPC Live 2, my beat making process is the same as what I do on every other machine, but I just make different music on the MPC Live 2. And then on, like I said, when I come to the MPC Key 61, I don't know what it is. Now, here's the thing that I'll show you, that on every MPC, it runs the same system, but the layouts are different. So in addition to learning where the buttons lie, as you can see the buttons are different. So you have to figure out, the workflow of each machine. On the MPC One, the shift button is on the right side next to the knob. Okay? On the MPC Key 61, the shift button is to the top. I guess you can't see it without it being on. Let me cut it on so you can see it. You can see there's two shift buttons on the MPC Key 61, which I just found that out a week ago. Two shift buttons. There's a shift button on the left. Once it cuts on and lights up, you'll see it says shift. And so those are minor things that you'll have to get used to when you're working on each machine, is knowing where everything lies and where everything is. But see, that shift button is on the left and the shift button is on the right there. See, shift, and you have shift right there. So those are able to get you to the secondary functions using shift. And you can double tap on the MPC Key 61. And I have not tried it on the MPC One, but yeah, you probably can double tap there too. That may be one of the new functions that's in the latest updates. But yeah, so that is what I'm talking about when people are online talking about what machine is better than the other machine. There are reasons why the machines are different, and they say that one machine is better than the other. Now, I'm going to try to hold this in my hand and shoot the video. All right. So as you can see, this is 3 versions of the freaking MPC. All right. This is an MPC Live 2 with the speaker, with a button layout. I know this like the top of my I know the layout with my eyes closed. So this is my favorite machine. And I think that the reason that I enjoy the 61 so much is because even though the layout is different, it gives me more buttons and it's spread out. And the buttons are different cushiony feeling than the buttons on the freaking Live 2 and the buttons on the MPC One. They're different buttons. So there's a different feel, but depending on which machine you're using. Now, so this is a different shot of all 3 machines. So what I'd like for Akai to do is freaking You know what? Maybe the MPC One Plus is battery powered. I'm gonna look that up. I don't know that for sure. That's terrible that I don't know that. But I don't own an MPC One Plus. Um, and I probably will get an MPC One Plus later on and probably give this MPC One to my daughter. But she has not told me that she has a feel for making beats yet. She makes beats on the iPad, but she didn't tell me that she's into, making beats like her daddy. So um if I do find a good deal on the MPC One Plus, you better believe it. If it has a battery in it, that is being added to my studio. But for now, I'm done buying MPCs. So that is the difference between all the machines and why I love specifically these two machines that are my money makers. MPC One is for in the house late at night when I'm in the bed and I just got the feeling to make beats. I can just plop it on the bed and I can get to work without taking up too much real estate and space. And my wife is not gonna fuss about why you got this big machine in the bed. The little one kind of is, it kind of like doesn't look so bad because you got a freaking big machine like the Live 2 in the bed. And my wife says you have a whole big old studio over there to make music. If you want to make music at night, you can go to the studio. And you know what? She's 100% correct. I have a huge studio over here, and uh I can make music in my studio. But late at night, when I got the feeling to make music, I'm not gonna come over here to the studio to make music. That's just not gonna happen. So I'm gonna make it in the bed while they're watching their freaking Korean dramas and their TV shows that I don't watch, with their headphones on. I'm gonna make some music. So that's how that rocks. Alrighty. So I'll give you a different shot between the X and the Live 2. Now again, you got a different layout of buttons. You have the pads on the left, instead of the pads being centered. Instead of 4 Q links on the X, you have 16 Q links for 16 pads. So you have a Q link for every freaking pad that you got. And then you have the number function where you can type in numbers on the X. You don't have that on the Live 2. Not really something that's needed, but you got it. And then you can control all the freaking ins and outs, sounds, phantom power, all that stuff by the buttons on the X instead of having to go on the back of the machine and do those things. Now, that's another thing about the Live 2 that you get. You get 2 USB slots. You have LAN power as well if you want to plug it up to LAN. And you got freaking the MIDI ins and outs. You got the input, and you got 3 of the freaking master outs, and you got 2 master outs, and then you got 2 other channels for outs, and then you got your headphones that go in the back. Now the difference between the Live 2 and the X is you got headphone jack in the front, and same thing on the freaking MPC One. You got headphones on the front. And I don't know for sure if there's headphones in the back on the MPC Key. Probably, I'm pretty sure there's probably headphone in the back. So let me look. Every MPC has headphone slots, so I'm sure that they didn't forget about headphone slot on the MPC Key. So let's look around the back. Yep, headphone. So you got expressions, sustain, CV gate, input, MIDI in and out, outputs, and phones right there. So yeah, you got a headphone jack on the back of the MPC Key 61, which I knew they wouldn't have done that. So all right, now let's talk about wishes. Now right now the MPC Renaissance, which is a controller, does not have MPC Renaissance does not have updated drivers that will work on the new Macs and a new freaking operating system on the Macs. Now, what I'd like for Akai to do is either update the Renaissance or to fix the drivers and make it compatible and work on the compatibility with the freaking workflow for Mac. Right now, it works on Windows computers, but Mac, no go. Apple, no go. Now, again, this is another rendition of having all the buttons that you'll need on a controller on a machine. Now, the MPC Renaissance was before its time, and boy, did they come up with something when they did the MPC X. They just didn't put a battery in it. Now, if it would have a battery in it, oh my gosh. Now we're going to talk about standalone hardware that you can only use in the computer. Controller mode, just controllers. All right, so we're talking about controllers. So today, in my video about, MPC, the MPC workflow, I love the MPC Studio layout. You got a host of buttons for everything that you need. And this is probably the best layout that I think the MPC should have looked like. If coming into the new era of MPCs, this would have been a killer for the MPC 1. This is what the MPC 1 should have looked like. MPC 1, if it looked like the MPC Studio with a battery and a screen, this would have been a killer. Akai would have made a killing, probably would have been its best machine. But they went with a new layout for the MPC 1, which I ain't mad, but this is where your money would have been made. So Akai, if you're watching videos out there and you're listening, anybody that's on a Akai team, I'm telling you, BeatsbyLonza, I ain't asking for much. Maybe y'all can send me the new send me the new one when you make it. Shit, and if you don't send it to me, I'm gonna pay for it any fucking way. But if you make the new MPC that looks like an MPC Studio with a battery in it and a freaking hard drive, or at least 100 gigs or something like that, it ain't gotta be nothing crazy. 50 gig internal hard drive or something like that, man, that would be a killer of every machine on the market that you're able to hook to Mac or Windows, and you can even carry it standalone and Wi-Fi. You're gonna blow the competition out the market. So we're talking about controllers. These 3 machines are all controllers. You have to plug it to the software. And I got to give y'all credit. Even on the MPC Studio Mark II, still got all that button functionality that you can use. You got all that real estate to use for buttons, so that you're not menu diving and you're not using the mouse as much. Although in the MPC software, you're gonna have to use your mouse. There's no getting around it. That's part of it being on a computer and being software. And the same thing with the MPC Renaissance. Man, I enjoy the MPC Renaissance. I even like having this little freaking this screen here. Gives you the nostalgia of the old, the old MPCs. And once y'all get it together with Mac and Apple and get it back running on Apple, we in business, baby. But for now, the good old trusty Windows computer is always going to come through. So I'm able to, in my studio, thank God I kept a freaking Windows computer. I'm able to run 2 separate computers. And when I want to work in controller mode, I come to my Windows computer. And then when I want to work on anything else, I can just work on the Apple platform on a Mac. Got a Mac Studio. And yeah, so that's that. So that is pretty much my studio and my equipment that I have for Akai MPC line. So if you haven't done so already, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let me know if there's anything that I can improve on my videos, anything you'd like to see, anything you'd like me to talk about, or anything that you need help. Again, my videos on YouTube for my channel is for me to give you help with things, not to brag about what equipment that I got or why you should have A, B, and C, because everybody is not in the same financial situation that everyone else may be in. You can't afford, this is 20 years in the making of equipment that I bought, 20 plus years of equipment. So this is not an overnight thing or something that I just got. This is over 20 years of getting this together. So, over in the last 10 years, I've bought the new Akai line. So, excuse me. So again, thank you for coming to my channel. I appreciate each and every one of you who watch my videos. And yeah, we're trying to run this up, baby. We're trying to get this monetization going on this page. And we're also trying to just find the people that want to make good music. So check me out on all social media platforms at BeatsbyLonza. Everywhere. Google me. You'll see I'm out there. We doing big things. So El Jefe, it's the gang. BeatsbyLonza, Zay Productions, Ivy League Entertainment. Let's go.